NFL draft today. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do some NFL draft talk today. I'm putting the finishing touches on my big board, right? My top 25 big board here at the J All Day Show. I'm starting to break down some of these guys. I got my top 10 finalized. My top 10 is in the books, guys, in the books for this NFL draft. Things change, right? Once the combine happens, we're going to see where these guys kind of come up and come down on the draft board. But pre-combine, which happens next weekend, I got a pretty good feel on where I have my players, right? So, if you're new to the channel, my name's Jay, host of the Jay All Day Sports Show, and we're here talking ball multiple times per week, here hanging out, talking some NFL draft. It's the off season, right, guys? So, not a lot to talk about NFL-wise yet. Free agency hasn't started yet. The draft is, still a little while away. But we have some time, right, to figure stuff out and figure out where our teams are going to be drafting, right? Figure out where our favorite team is going to go, what they're going to do when April comes around and the clock starts ticking, right? So, for me, I'm going to start breaking down my top 10 guys on this draft board, guys. I got pretty solid. I think my top 10 is coming in pretty solid from the tape I've watched so far. All right, coming in at number 10 on my big board for the NFL draft is the quarterback from Colorado, Deion Sanders' son, Shedeur Sanders. 6'2", 215-pound quarterback from Colorado. The thing that stands out on the tape to me the most is he's a pretty accurate passer. And we saw what happened with Bo Nix. Everyone was like, he's too old. He's not athletic enough. He's not good enough. But Bo Nix had a really great year with the Denver Broncos because he's a very accurate quarterback. And in the NFL, you need to be able to throw on time, accurately. He's got really good ball placement, too. He knows where to throw the ball on the outside shoulder. If he's running a slant across the middle, he knows where to throw it so he's not throwing it high so his wide receivers get absolutely smoked. He's got a quick release, pretty solid intermediate passes as well. Yeah, I'm a football guy. I don't really do soccer too much. I live in the States, so soccer's definitely not as popular here in the States, but across the world, it's way more popular for sure. We're talking about Shedeur Sanders, number 10 on my draft board, guys. In 2023, he set school records at Colorado for passing yards in a season, 3,230. Completion percentage, 69.3%. So he's coming in right around 70% of his passes, right? So Shedeur Sanders is a very, very impressive prospect in my opinion. And he had a great interception to touchdown ratio, 27-3. And the offensive line of Colorado wasn't great. If he could play behind a good offensive line, I think he could be even more productive, right? So, he throws two open receivers and leads them while he's throwing the ball. I think he's a very impressive guy. He spins the ball well. He's got good timing, got good touch. So we're going backwards. I'm going from 10 to 9 to 8 to 7, all the way up to number 1. I'm giving you guys my top 10 in the draft this year so far. So I like the tape with Shedeur Sanders. For me, he's the number 1 quarterback on the board because of accuracy. Cam Ward is not as accurate. Cam Ward fumbles the ball a lot. So Cam Ward will be in my top 25, but he is not in my top 10. Shedeur Sanders is my number 1 quarterback, guys, off the board. Shedeur Sanders, 6'2" quarterback from Colorado, comes in at number 10. All right, next up, we got James Pierce, the edge defender from Tennessee, 8 sacks, 43 hurries, very, very impressive prospect. I like James Pierce Jr. a lot. He's one of my favorite edge rushing prospects. Mine is Abdul Carter. He's probably the best guy on the board, in my opinion. He's only 21, 6'5", His weight needs to get up there a little bit. I don't necessarily love the weight coming in around 250 pounds for James Pierce. For me, the edge defenders, I want to see them a little bit bigger than that. So coming in around 6'5", 243 pounds. I want him to come to the combine over 250. If he can come at the combine over 250, his draft stock's definitely going to go up over time, in my opinion, right? He's a talented pass rusher, tied for the SEC lead in sacks in 2023. 9.5 sacks. He's quick, closes well. He's a big, physical, smooth guy, man. I like myself some James Pierce Jr. I think he's an exceptionally talented guy. When you look at the big board here, guys, when you look at the big board, James Pierce, one of my favorite guys. Very, very talented coming out of Tennessee. I think he's going to be one of the top guys off the board. I think he's going to go in the top 10 in my opinion, right? This year, 8 sacks, 43 hits, 89.4 pass rush grade. It's hard to beat that, man. He's very, very talented. James Pierce is my number 9 guy, He's smooth at change in direction. He could redirect when blockers are kind of like pushing him out of the pocket. He's just like, he can drop in the coverage too, so he could fit that 3-4 scheme. He's definitely more of a 3-4 linebacker, in my opinion, right? I don't think he has the size to be the, 4-3, stick your hand in the dirt edge defender. But in a 3-4 scheme, I think James Pierce fits pretty well. These smaller edge defenders that are kind of quick off the ball, off the snap, can drop in the coverage a little bit, are going to fit in the scheme for the 3-4 defenses like the Philadelphia Eagles run. Who's going to draft? So the Giants have an early pick this year, right? They definitely have an early pick, right? So, in my opinion, the Giants have a few options. It's really going to depend what the Titans do at the number 1 pick. If the Giants moved up 2 spots to draft number 1 with the Titans, I wouldn't be surprised by that, and pick the quarterback they want. They're drafting at number 3 overall. They want a quarterback, right? So if the Titans pick Cam Ward, they're probably going to want to maybe make a move with the Browns. But Shedeur Sanders has said multiple times he doesn't want to play in Cleveland. His dad said he won't play in Cleveland. So for me, the Giants probably land Shedeur Sanders. That's like kind of where I'm at with that. I think that's where that goes. All right, number 8 on my big board, guys. 6'5", 310 pounds, a nasty offensive lineman. He did have a bad injury this year, so we're going to have to check the medicals before this big board becomes official on draft day. That's Josh Simmons from OSU. For me, he was the most physical, most dominant force on the offensive line. He's nasty. Guys don't get off his blocks. If he's healthy, he's the number 1 offensive lineman in this draft, and I think he could stay at tackle. A lot of these offensive linemen, him and Will Johnson maybe stay at tackle, but the rest of the guys probably are more graded towards guards. Yeah, he's just got great quickness. He's got really good feet. He's got good width. His kick step, and that first punch off the line of scrimmage and pass protection is really strong. He mirrors really well. Yeah, I don't know if the Eagles can get up to get Myles Garrett. It's going to be Rich, right? Walt Butler, what's going on, buddy? Welcome to the chat. Yeah, Jonathan, I don't know. I think the Browns are going to want a serious haul for that pick. Can they get there? I don't know. For me, Starman, the missing piece for the Jets is a quarterback. The Jets haven't had a good quarterback in forever, guys. Guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. The Jets need a quarterback. They're drafting kind of in no man's land right now, the Jets are, so I don't know if the quarterback is there. Do they bring in a guy like Matt Stafford or Sam Darnold? That's an option. But they need a quarterback. They haven't had a good quarterback in a really, 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 really long time. Yeah, Dylan Sampson's probably a second or third day guy, right? So it'll be interesting to see what Jerry Jones and the Cowboys do at 12. But for me, Starman, the Jets need a quarterback. They need some, like, consistency at that position, right? They need some stability there. They haven't been stable at the quarterback position probably as long as I've been alive. So for me, Jets need a quarterback. Josh Simmons, he started 13 games at right tackle at San Diego State earlier in his career and at left tackle at Ohio State the past 2 years. So Josh Simmons, very versatile guy, can play left tackle, right tackle, probably even kick in the guard. He's not my number 8 guy. Number 7 is Michigan cornerback Will Johnson. He's 6'2", over 200 pounds. They don't make him like this every day. He's extremely talented. He's a true lockdown corner. He could read receivers. He could break off a coverage. He's just really, really, really good. He's got great control. He's really fluid for a taller cornerback. He's just, Quinyon Mitchell-esque. A true number 1 shutdown corner that should go in the top 15 picks in this draft. He's got good length. He can reroute receivers because he's really physical. He can easily get off blocks because of his size. And he can support in the run game. He wraps up well. He's a good tackler. He's the total package at the cornerback spot. Do the Jags look good? No. The Jaguars they look awful in my opinion, man. The Jaguars are going to be a dumpster fire. I didn't love the coaching hire. I don't love it. All right, guys. Shedeur Sanders comes in at number 10. James Pierce, the edge defender, at number 9. Josh Simmons, the offensive tackle, at number 8. Will Johnson comes in at the cornerback at number 9. All right, next up, NFL fans, my number 6 ranked guy on my big board is Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State. Probably the best tight end prospect I've seen in over a decade. 6'6", 1,200 pounds, 8 touchdowns. He only had a 2.8% drop rate this year. That's extremely impressive. He even threw passes this year. The dude is just so physical. You can line him up in the slot. You can line him up in line. He's just extremely, extremely talented. 93.3 receiving grade for Tyler Warren. He's one of my favorite prospects in this entire draft. I love Tyler Warren. He plays tight end, receiver, running back, quarterback. He can play everything, man. He's extremely impressive. He's a great route runner. He's great at finding those windows and those openings in zone coverage. He's just so good, man. He could get off man-to-man because he's super physical. He's a big target at 6'6". He's got a great catch radius. Excellent on 50-50 balls. I think the Eagles are better next year. They're not depending on free agency, obviously, right? But I think they're going to get back at least half the big guys on their free agent board. 1,200 yards passing. Receiving. Sorry. Did I say 1,200 pounds? 245 pounds, 1,200 yards receiving. My bad, Fidel. My bad. I'm like trying to read and talk at the same time. But yeah, 1,200 yards. Tyler Warren is an absolute beast, man. Tyler Warren he might be my favorite player in this draft, honest to God. 260. He's unbelievable, man. He's going to be this year's Brock Bowers. I loved Brock Bowers last year. Tyler Warren's just as good, if not better. I don't think Pierce makes it past the Falcons at 15. But they could go Mike Green there. But Pierce is a little more polished, played against better competition. But, man, I love him. And he's got the frame and the size to be a great inline blocker. He's not an excellent blocker right now, but he could grow into that. He could catch the ball in traffic. He's good after the catch. He makes people miss. I love Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State, is number 6 on the J All Day big board. Nick Sirianni, me? Yeah, it all depends. Like, A lot of things can happen at 32, but a guy like Walter Nolan, if he falls to the Eagles at 32, I think they go interior defensive lineman. The Texans are really interesting. The Texans make a lot of sense for where Cooper Kupp goes. I like the Texans. The Commanders make sense. He's going to want to go to a team that has some draft clout and like some clout that like they can win. He's not going to go to a bum team. They probably want to get him out of the NFC. The Baltimore Ravens make a lot of sense. Even, when you look at these teams, the Chargers don't really make sense because they got Ladd McConkey. But, the Chiefs make a lot of sense too. Cooper Kupp could go to the Chiefs. He's going to go to a winning team for sure. Yeah, Debo makes some sense. I think Debo going to the Chiefs makes a lot of sense. The Texans make a lot of sense as well. Debo's going to want to go to a winner too. I think Debo going to the Lions makes some sense. The Packers, I don't know if he's going to want to go play in the cold weather, but. All right, number 5 on the JL Day big board is Aston Genty. He's the best running back we've seen in years. I mean, why would the 49ers trade within their own division? That makes no sense. Yeah, the Raiders, I like that too for Debo. Because I don't like running around kicking balls. Yeah, I'm good on soccer. I'm good on soccer, man. Genty was unbelievable this year. He's got great contact balance. He's made more people miss tackling than like any running back in college history. He's just a natural receiver out of the backfield as well. Genty is, a complete back. He's the best running back we've seen in a draft since Saquon Barkley. I love Genty. He comes in at number 5. Next up is Tetairoa McMillan from Arizona, the wide receiver. He's a little high probably for most people, but at 6'5", 215 pounds, 1,300 yards in back-to-back seasons. He's the premium wide receiver in this draft. And he's above Genty only because wide receiver is such more of a premium position, right? Yeah, Genty could definitely go to the Raiders for sure. They're picking early enough. If there's no quarterback on the board and they don't move up. Yeah, Travis Hunter is probably a top 5 pick for me. He's coming up on my big board. I got Tet McMillan, 6'5", 215 pounds. He's a great route runner. Can line up outside at the X or in the slot. He's got a wide catch radius, big red zone threat as well. Tet McMillan is one of my favorite players in this draft. Some people are, ESPN has him at like 22 overall. I think that's a crock of shit. He's definitely a top 10 guy in this draft class from me. What's up, Darwin Gonzalez from Columbia? We're talking some NFL football. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the J All Day Sports Show. We talk all sports here, mainly football, some UFC, some baseball, and NBA as well. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers for the month, guys. We just added 4 new subscribers. Guys, thank you so much. 150 more to go to get to 1,000 subscribers new to the program this month. Yeah, I mean, Travis Hunter, so Colorado's offensive line really sucks, right? So if you're a wide receiver and your offensive line sucks, it's kind of disheartening. I played a lot of slot receiver growing up. Played on a lot of bad football teams, right? So, when you're getting your ass kicked and your offensive line can't block, it's pretty disheartening. But, we'll see what he does at the next level. He's probably more of a cornerback, in my opinion. So, Tet McMillan comes in at number 4. Number 3 is Mason Graham from Michigan, the D lineman. The dude's a monster. He's the most pro-ready guy in this draft. Great run defender, excellent pass rusher. He's just a wall. He's like an unblockable guy in the trenches. He can stack blockers, he can shed blocks. He's got good size, good quickness, get to the quarterback and track the quarterback when they're running around the pocket. I love Mason Graham from Michigan. He's one of my favorite players in this draft. He's number 3 overall for me. The dude is an absolute monster. Mason Graham, I don't see him going out of the top 5. 90 grade in 2023, 91 grade in 2024. 6'3", 320 pounds. The dude's a beast. He's an absolute monster. He's the most pro-ready. He's only 21, too. So, he's a pretty young guy, 21 and a half years old. He's really, really talented, man. Mason Graham, coming from Michigan. He's going to be a top 5 pick, no doubt about it. So when you look at the quarterback class, man, there's this one guy that everyone seems to be like getting pretty high on at quarterback. I'm not a big Jalen Milroe guy. Dylan Gabriel's kind of small, so that's going to limit his upside probably 6'2", 200. He's kind of like Russell Wilson size. But what's his name? Tyler Sue from Louisville. People are falling in love with his tape. So Tyler Sue from Louisville, check him out. He could definitely be an interesting pick on day 2 of the draft, right? So number 2 on my big board this year is Travis Hunter. He's an excellent defensive back. He's probably the number 1 cornerback prospect in this draft. But you could also package him on the offensive side of the ball, play a little slot receiver. You know, he's a great player. You know, he can catch 50-50 balls. He runs great routes. He's shifty. He's quick. He's fast. I love him. And number 1 on the J All Day Sports Show board, Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter from Penn State. He was an off-ball linebacker most of his college career. He played on the edge this year. He was the most dominant player in the NFL. He's only going to get better. He's young, he's big, he's physical, he's strong. He's number 1 for me because of that potential upside. You know, is he Myles Garrett? I'm not sure about that, but he's got the potential to be. He's a freak. And freaks, you draft early in the draft. He's just was unblockable this year at the highest level. He's extremely talented, guys. If you're new to the channel, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, guys. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm doing a quick half-an-hour live stream today. So here is the J All Day Sports Show Top 10 Big Board for this year's NFL Draft. Shedeur Sanders comes in at number 10. James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee, number 9. Josh Simmons, the offensive lineman from Ohio State, number 8. Will Johnson, the big, tall, physical cornerback from Michigan coming off an injury, number 7. Number 6, Tyler Warren, one of my favorite players in this draft. He might even move up past Genty before things said are done. 6'6", 260 pounds, over 1,200 yards, 8 tutties, drop rate under 3%. Woo, man. And then Ashton Genty, number 5 overall, coming in from the running back from Boise State. Tet McMillan, number 4. Mason Graham, number 3, the D lineman from Michigan. Number 2, Travis Hunter, the Heisman Trophy winner. And number 1, Abdul Carter from Penn State, guys. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this quick little live stream. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I will catch you on the next video. Make sure you check out my long form content. I appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Peace out.